Mm. Man, that opening is loud in my speakers, so I apologize. Welcome to this week's edition of Dropping the Hammer. I am your host, Warhammer. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, also TikTok. Just got it together. So in part of doing this all, I'm learning how to connect everything. So we're live on TikTok on my phone, but I've got a camera right above that for the other stuff. Now, I was trying to have it. I can't link the two, TikTok and my StreamYard, to do it at once, but I am able to link everything else together pretty much. In order to post on my personal YouTube that I was making, the Dropping the Hammer, um, I have to pay. I have to pay more. Um, I have to pay more on the StreamYard just to be able to do that. Right now, I'm not able to do that. I'll have to look into it so I can, you know, upgrade this. But at the current moment, the budget is stretched thin as it is. So, um, t- so I let's kind of rewind this. Welcome all you Drangir and Shield Maidens to this week's edition of Dropping the Hammer. And like I said, we're live on TikTok and we're live on all the other platforms. So I yesterday was rough for the Sons of Plunder. Yesterday was um, rough for me personally. Uh, so I was able to go to Beaumont, Texas, and wrestle with Southern Star Wrestling um, company promotion. You know, um, that was a 3.5 hour drive from where I live. No problem. Loved the drive. Willing to make it. So that was, you know, um, that was fine. Uh, I actually went down Friday night and stayed at my buddy Moose's. Um, I called it the Moose Lodge. I stayed on the Moose couch. Um, Also, thank you, Moose Ben Morrow. He was on the podcast a couple weeks ago advertising this. He'll be back. I'll have him back shortly. I'll interview him, and we will we'll talk about how the show went as well. So I'm gonna talk about my side. Um, Ben will talk about his side. He actually got a little dirty in the ring, so we can talk about that because he hasn't done that in many years. But all in all, the show went phenomenal, went sensational. Everything I'm talking about is separate from the show. It's more leading up to the show and coming home from the show. That's where SOP took a beating. Um, like I said, I went down there Friday, and it's nobody else's fault. It's my fault. I barely slept, and you know, by the time by the time the show was ready, I hadn't slept well. So I'm running on wires. Um, Iron Belly gets sent on a GPS wild goose chase, and Um, his 3+ hour drive, I'm not sure how long it is for him. Oh no, he said 6 hour drive. 6 hour drive for him. Um, so his 6 hour turned into 7 plus. Um, he had a flat tire on the start of the journey, and that was, an hour into his journey. Um, then the extra hour from the detours that he had to take. He said 2 extra detours that didn't really matter. Excuse me. He called and was able to assure him, "Hey, man, I'm here. There's no problem. I've already helped set up. I know where everything needs to be. We just need you. No, there's no issue." He gets there. We're able to set up our merch table. We're able to, decompress. We're able to, you know, just start beginning our nightly stuff. Well, this is at Teddy Morris's Cowboy Harley Davidson. So we are surrounded by beautiful machines. Now I picked me out one. Mentally, I didn't certainly don't have the money to pay for it, but I imagine me riding off on a certain one of them. It was very nice. We were literally surrounded by bikes. They were everywhere. They moved bikes out of the showroom floor so we could wrestle in the middle of the place. Man, this was this was an awesome opportunity. Um, they actually, so this was their first time doing it, but everything I've heard of through the talks just from the backstage, this is going to be a yearly event. Now, not only was this put on by the Teddy Morris's Cowboy Harley Davidson, it was actually conceptualized from my buddy Moose, the president of the Odin Sons Veteran Club here in Beaumont. Um, I know it's a bigger group, but just however big the Beaumont chapter is, he's the one that set this up. So many thanks to Ben, many thanks to Teddy Morris. Just thanks all the way. Like I said, this was a hero holiday benefit, so every dollar that was raised was for the a certain charity, but it was for the veterans group right there. Not the veterans club, but the actual veterans that needed somehow some group, whatever it was. Oh man. So I got Adam from SSW saying that 30 over $3,600 was raised. So that is phenomenal. I'm not sure how many tickets were sold, but they were no more tickets. We filled these seats. They were off in the back wherever they could. It was standing room only. I know that much. So uh, all of it will be used to put together care packages of food for vets and their families. So this this is why we were there. This is what we were doing for the veterans. I know my father, uh, you know, Navy veteran. I was trying to figure out any qualification, but just discharged normally. Navy veteran. My grandfather, um, my uncle. I think I've got on that was one side. I think I've got uncles on the opposite side. I know I've got higher ups, second generation and stuff like that. So military in my family. So I definitely wanted to, show out and help out where I could. So the veteran from me, not veteran from me, but me helping the veterans was the goal. And then just being connected with the Odin Sons Veteran Club. That was the second thing. So, just really cool opportunities. That's man, it was a great thing. The I can't even describe the feeling. So it was just a great opportunity for everybody involved, everybody, the wrestlers backstage, the people setting it up, Teddy Morris's Cowboy Harley Davidson, Southern Star Wrestling. I believe even the Odin's sons got publicity. Like everybody benefited for this benefit. um Yeah, so the match was actually fourth match in the show. We wrestled the Sons of Plunder wrestled the Blue Collar Crew. Um, we defended our tag team titles. Ooh. Justin had an absolute blast. Glad to be a part of that. Uh, yeah, so we need to mute my notifications. So, ow. Yeah, all the wrestlers, are a bunch of great guys. They love what they're doing. So this was great opportunity for all of us. Like I said, I was the fourth match, and yeah, I figured you were Redbeard. Just that. I was like, that's Redbeard. So my buddy, um, another another bearded ginger. We gotta get you bald, brother. We gotta get you bald, and then we can do some Captain Save a Viking. Yeah. So uh, Redbeard was one of those guys that helped me when I was leaking, leaking. Um, so we've gotten real close since then, but yeah, we're together in two different companies, so just great. So um, Sons of Plunder were against the Blue Collar Crew. Um, all I can say is that match went so fast. I didn't really realize we were already ready to go home. Um, I was in the middle of my beating like I normally am. Um, of course, uh, I took damage. So at one part I was knocked down on my knees, and he said, "Stay there, 3 kicks." Awesome, let's go, rip it. And the first one straight across the chest. The second one was more right across this tricep and right on my bone. I still had to take another one, even though this arm was now numb and not working. That third one ripped. I don't really remember what I did after that, but my arm was numb and I couldn't use it for a little bit. Um, nothing nothing he could have done better aside from, you know, moving. It was a range issue, but He thumped me right on my humerus bone. My humerus bone is more exposed on this side due to a bicep you know, repair. Um, I know I've talked about it on the podcast, but since rebuilding this and rebranding everything, we just talk about it again. I tore my bicep off of the elbow, basically. Um, when they say don't jerk when you lift, that is why. Um, it was an actual injury I did at work. It wasn't a wrestling injury. I didn't do it in the ring, but I certainly shouldn't have been lifting the item I was trying to lift. I don't remember jerking in this motion, but I remember extending my arms and it ripping. That's what I remember. So I've basically had this whole arm kind of shifted just slightly to correct what it was. Um, oh, I see some comments. Nice wall decor. Thank you. Some of it's Legend of Zelda, a lot of it's me. Um, depending on it's this one. Um, and what's up, everybody in TikTok land? I'm trying to get all the comments, looking at two different cameras, but it's fine. Um, oh yeah, so Miss Winay, being a veteran and part of it, it was on roaming cam, but she had a blast, So even veterans that were there had a blast. Now Moose is a veteran. He also got in the ring, like I said. But this, this is so fun. I can't even I can't even describe it. So I know I'm flat, I'm monotone, and that is due to my roars in the ring and the weekend catching up to me. So um yeah, I'm flat, but this was an amazing thing. So um everybody benefited. Now, the kick numbed my arm, and from there everything just kind of got taken out of me. I don't remember much aside from a little more beating, and then all of a sudden it was push me, and that was the sign to knock the guy. His partner kind of gets racked in the turnbuckle. I was supposed to do my Odin's curse, which is a fireman's carry power bomb. I was supposed to power bomb him, Iron Belly splash. Then we pinned, but I pinned just out of. I mean, it's just a reflex now. Pin, finisher pin. Um, I don't get to do it much, so finisher pin 1, 2, 3, and then Iron Belly called out, and I understood. You know, I should have stretched him out so he understood the assignment. I could have done better on that in hindsight, but um, he ended up kind of when he braced, he ended up racking himself because he put his fists in his crotch, and he punched himself when Iron Belly landed on him. So we do apologize for that. Um, this is the match. I don't remember doing any offense. Honestly, I punch, punch, punch. I think that was it. I got kicked a bunch. I got stomped on. I know I got slammed. I took bumps. I I don't remember what I did, you know. Oh, we got my buddy Jax. Jax in the house. Uh, I thank you, Jax, for your donation of blocks of wood. I made my buddy a couple of hammers, so he was stoked. Yeah, this one. The crowd was hot the whole time, absolutely. I know they were in it from the moment we walked out. That's kind of Sons of Plunder's strength. We walk out and we look legitimate. We look like legitimate Vikings. We look like, you know, people there for destruction. We got Top Rope Tom Hope in the house. What's up, Tom? So, yeah, we are legitimate looking Vikings with our face paint, with our giant hammers. We didn't come out with our furs. It was just too hot. We were already sweaty. Um, I put my makeup on too soon and it was starting to run and smear, and I kept and smeared it and rubbing it, getting it more into my eyes. But our music, the way we walk, the way we come out, the kids get involved. When we're good guys, everybody's slapping hands and giving five. I I don't have my hands free. I've got a shield and I've got a giant hammer. Um, so what I am getting good with is people are smacking the shield, because it's I now carry my shield in my left hand, or I always have carried my shield in my left hand, but now it's smack the shields, and that's my high five. um definitely got the hammer in my right hand, because that's my strong. Tom says we kill it every show, and that we definitely try, man. We try so hard to make it make sense, to make the show go off without a hitch. This next comment, because I was actually leading up to this when I was talking about our entrance, but this so for those on TikTok, I know you can't see the comments, but on our walkout, we walk around the ring. Now, this is for intimidation as heels, or this is for slapping the high fives and getting hands, and just getting all the the interest, getting everybody riled up. But once me and my partner are in the ring, we line up side by side, just equal distance away, and we do this giant hammer swing. Now, my hammer is a 9-pound wooden sledgehammer. Iron Belly's is actually more like 12, possibly 15. His is more, I don't even know how, but it's smaller, but just more compact, much like Iron Belly. He's just stouter, like just dwarven made. We'll just call it that. His hammer is actually used. It's a military hammer. It was used in artillery. I'm knocking out the shells or something like that, something to that effect. So the hammer was even a military hammer. So when we strike the ring, that's the moment that our hammers are real, we are real, and what we were about to do is real. Um, Jax, I am not sure, bud. You will have to weigh that yourself. I I made several large hammers recently. Had them for merch, just hadn't sold them in a while. Was able to give one to my buddy Jax, one of my big fans. Um, it was a cedar block of wood, at least this big. It was close to a 12 by 12 block. It's got, the same size dowel rod as my hammer, but obviously my head is my warhammer is much smaller. His is easily, like I said, a 12 by 12 chunk of cedar. um it's a beast. That was actually used in a match. Yes, it was used in a hammer on a pole match against Rika Wildly. One of my brothers, one of the founders. I'll say one of the founders because there's two of them. One of them just joined the live. Timmy, what's up, my brother? Um, Exists to inspire wrestling. E2IW. These guys, locker rooms already stacked with phenomenal characters. They're working on pressing face and getting their publicity out. These guys are going to go far. We are going to go far. So I can't wait to see what we do together. Um, but everywhere we go with this hammer strike, even when I do it solo, I did it in Comic Con, and it was inside a building, inside a enclosed arena space, and it it scares people. We had security come check on it, but come to find out, it's just them boys wrestling. Thor Thor wishes he could have such a glorious hammer from Warhammer. Funny story. I went to a Viking festival here in Gladewater, and there's people portraying, all the gods. Odin. I met Odin. I met Thor. I met Loki. I actually have a picture of Thor and Loki from the event, and they're pointing at me because I'm walking around with a giant hammer and Thor walking around with Mjolnir. So they were discussing true hammer size and true hammer usage. So I got to get photos with those guys. They were phenomenal. They will be starting their Uppsala event in Gladewater here after Thanksgiving. So the first weekend of December, I believe December 5th, but I know December 6th. I won't be able to make it opening weekend. I'm going to try the 7th, maybe if I'm able. But it's like I said, a Viking festival. Uh, it's for Yule. For that, those who don't know, Yule is basically the Christmas for Vikings. Many of the customs you hold today are pulled from Vikings. So I plan to go on some of those lessons. We'll do that next month. We'll have some Viking history lessons. I will say I was in one of the groups I joined on TikTok. It is it is basically it is Triumph Wrestling Promo Federation. So what it is a group of people kind of doing the closest I can describe it as rap battles, but it's promotions and getting your gimmicks across, getting your characters across. Um, so it's kind of working on my promo skills, and that's what I've kind of been doing with that group. But I was able to use some Viking history on one of my promos. So I will say this. Um, you can't go a week without speaking Viking. So, ran a few of them. Ah, I got you. My buddy's saying he ran a few of the promo battle groups and stuff like that. Um, but you can't go a week without speaking Viking. And uh, everybody was shocked. Well, how can you say that? Well, Wednesday, we'll start there. Woden's Day. Um, that's Odin's Day. So um, it even sounds like Wednesday. Now you go Thursday, Thor's Day. That's that's almost the same word. And then Friday is Freya's Day. Like these are almost the exact same words. They're the gods. They're the gods themselves. So 3 days right there in the week, and you have to speak Viking. So, you know, just a history lesson on your days of the week. Just you know, but I'll go into more history lessons and stuff like that. Tonight is more about the cowboy Harley Davidson and that benefit show. I There's so much going on. I'm sorry. Like I said, I didn't sleep well, but we'll just get this out there. I was driving home and I was about an hour into my drive home, just like Iron Belly was into his drive up there. Um, I was driving 70 mile an hour, 75 mile an hour down a road, well traveled. There were cars buzzing by me when I stopped, but I hit a deer at 75 mile an hour, man. This thing broke me. I had a mental breakdown on the side of the road. So, not that my lights were super bright or anything like that, but obviously I'm gonna have to uh, fix them. Um, you know, it's a common thing in Texas. You're gonna hit roadkill. You're gonna hit animals. Some people find deer. Man, it's a glorious buck. I couldn't count the points, obviously, but he had a big rack. He was walking into center road, so center of my lane. By the time I say deer, he's already turned to go back to the shoulder. This saved me, plus, being aware, I jerked the wheel. The inertia of that caused the fan to dip. And I think that pretty much also saved me. Um, the comment broke me. I'm gonna read it in just a second. But turning so suddenly, it dipped my vehicle, and I think I clipped just right there on his hip. Now, what he did to me was, excuse me, he took the corner of my van off, and it's like he just removed it. My passenger headlight, instead of it shoots out like this. So I was able to see more deer afterwards than I could ever imagine. The light was literally shining into the side, and it was into the tree line, and I could see them eating and stuff like that afterwards. I was barking, I was honking, I was doing everything I could at 60 miles an hour to make sure they didn't do it again. It took me 20 minutes to stop shaking. It took me that long to be able to breathe again. I ended up crying. Ended up calling my parents. I made several phone calls. My phone wasn't working. I ended up having to call my parents because they were the only ones that actually answered. Everybody asking me where I was, man, I don't know. That's all I could answer. I was in the middle of nowhere. It was dark. My phone wasn't working. It was rough, man. It was rough. But someone says the Hammermobile versus the Southeast Texas for feud of the decade. So yeah, um, somebody asked me why I didn't hit the deer with my hammer. I certainly would have, you know, I wasn't hunting. Had I been hunting, this would have been great. But, you know, I'm sorry, Mr. Deer, that I was in your way. But the deer definitely knew I was there. There was different fluids on my vehicle. When I say he removed my headlight, he also broke my washer fluid reservoir. So there was washer fluid, there was deer urine, and there was feces all over my van. Driving home, all of these fluids were now distributed through the ventilation system. So I was just smelling it. Um, it actually it actually added an extra hour onto my drive because I had to drive so slow. Um, I also gotta like I gotta ask. I passed multiple cops. Not one of them pulled me over. Not one of them asked what happened. I got a headlight that is actively. If I hit 65, it rattled too much and I couldn't see my entire right side. I had to drive between 60 and 65 the entire way. And like I said, I was an hour into a 3.5 hour drive and it added an hour. I did obviously I made it home, but I made it home. It was 10 o'clock. I then got my roommate to go take me to go get some food. Went to a place, or it was 9:30, excuse me. Because we left to go get some food. The place closed at 10, but they were out of chicken. So drove someplace else to get some food. It was after 10 when I finally got in the shower and laid down. Slept most of the day today. Um, Still feel, man, this, I was just coming down from the show. It was slowly coming down. Then this, like that's what broke me. Like everything was just running wild, man. They were in cahoots with the deer. That I am lucky. I'm not gonna, you know, deny that. Any more deer on any more van, and things would have been different. But I can fix my van. It just sucks. It just sucks. I was on such a good note, and then just just crash, man. But knowing the benefit show went well, that's that's really all that I'm concerned with. Um, I'll fix my van. Like I said, you know, if I get another vehicle, I'll get another vehicle. It's a go-kart. I'll get where I need to go. So I want to talk about this for a minute. Fans. When you got fans, when you know you got fans, you know, the lights were bugging me, so I wasn't wearing them. But Mm. when you've got fans that are asking, when your next show is, when your next match is, they're buying your merch, you know, wearing your shirts, getting your autographs. These are all amazing. These are all amazing things. Thank you to each and every person who bought our merchandise at any point. Our beard oils are selling really well. We now have two different scents. We have Raiders Camp, which is it was our first, but it's our top seller right now. Um, it is smoke leather, um, sweet amber, and black cherry. Then we also have the mead hall, which is vetiver, bergamot, and honey. Um, that's our newest scent. Both of them sold really well over the weekend. Tremendous thanks to everybody who bought the beard oils. It is so fantastic to walk around and have them smelling like us. Yes, someone did showcase us on the mic. How to get some beard oil to keep the beard luscious and delicious, I believe they said. But yes, I use my beard oil um, almost daily, multiple times a day. Sometimes it's to the point where my brush is now very oiled. So yeah, it's doing it again. We'll do that. So I can brush and it's starting to oil my beard. So um, it's my comb, my brush is now getting to the point where it needs to be. But it yeah, our beard oil was really a top seller. Two more scents are planned. Um, Now, for anybody who wants beard oil, Iron Belly and I, and all the things that are being connected, we have our own Cash App, our own Sons of Plunder Cash App. Um, Now, just an open honesty, normally we split our merch 50-50. We sell a shirt, we both make money. If we sell merchandise, stickers, boom, 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 we're splitting it as much as we can 50-50. The beard oil started off as an initial investment. So, what I'm kind of doing is working that initial investment off before I take some of the benefits. But I've only got a couple more bottles on my internship, and then I'll be able to take profit. Excuse me. But we've got our own Cash App. So if you want any of our merch, I'm gonna set up a shop either on Etsy or something, so we can promote our merchandise, our shirts, our hammers, our beard oils, our um, just all of our merch, and we can ship it and do stuff like that. I have a comment on TikTok. What are my pronouns? My pronouns are standard pronouns. I'm a man, so we'll just leave it at that. Um, but yes, we'll go back to you know, we are definitely trying to get that set up where we can, you know, send orders, you know, in the real world. So you don't just have to come to a show. We want to be able to send you a beard oil anywhere. So we created this Cash App. We will post links where we can. Um, um, my, my partner Iron Belly just sent me a message. I'm not sure if he's watching or not, but he knows about the podcast. He knows about the live and everything. So everything we do is out of the we're a brotherhood, so we are together in everything. So it comes from our hearts. We believe in our products, and we will put them out. We were Miss Shaw Marie says her husband's beard is so soft today. Did he get the Raider camp or did he get the uh, mead hall? I'm just curious. Um, Again, someone's asking me my pronouns. They are standard pronouns. I'm a man. Um, I have a real beard, so that's not sure. I'm confused by the question. Oh, he got both. He got both. Um, got both. So, like I said, the beard oils are doing phenomenally well. I can't believe it. And this was something that was started as kind of a whim, but it's something that Iron Belly understood, obviously. It's something he saw we both needed, and it's a product we both use. So, that's the best promotion right there. Hey, we're using this right now. Um, and like I've said, having the entire locker room smell like the beard oil is phenomenal. Um, you know, I yes, plenty of beards in the house. That's why we had the second flavor ready. Um, so yeah, that was the plan. The beard oil needed to happen, and um, we will also be doing another benefit, different. This will be a motorcycle club benefit for the Cossacks. We will be in Detroit, Texas. That'll be on December 6th. That's why I can't go to the opening of Uppsala in Gladewater. I will be wrestling, but you know, I'd love to do both. I'd love to be connected with Uppsala, but I couldn't go to its. I couldn't go to its. You know, hiring day to day. Obviously, the deer kind of changed all of my plans for the day. Um, I couldn't talk to my insurance company. They were closed by the time I woke up, or they weren't open at all today. I'm not sure which is the case, but I yeah, I'm frustrated. Someone said it felt like a beard convention. I mean, what can I say? That's Vikings bring out the beards. But what I wanted to say was, you're doing something right when your fans are making signs for you. They're doing stuff to wear your merch, or they're making you stuff. I had a young lady um, make me something by hand, and this is off of one show. She went to the Beaumont Comic Con show with Sudistic Wrestling Federation. Saw me one time, and instantly I was her favorite. I hope we'll do TikTok first, and then yeah. She made this with her hands, obviously, but look at that. Look at that. That's me. That's my shield. You know, so it's a snake and got a giant hammer. This is too cool. Just too cool, man. I love it. It's going on my desk, you know. If I can figure out how to put it up here, it'll go somewhere. This will be a good place. Maybe, yeah, right there. Maybe help balance him out. I don't know. I'll figure out how to put him up there because that is just too cool. I love it. And, it's an honor that someone made something for me. I feel honored, privileged that any of my fans, for one, bought my merch, two, made me something, made me a trinket. To each and all my fans, to the fans of Sons of Plunder, to the fans of wrestling, you know, period. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for everybody who tunes in to, watch me every week. Like I said before, I originally started this as therapy. It's a visual logging. It's a, you know, hey, here's how I'm doing on a week to week basis. It's more for myself, but who doesn't need therapy? We all need somebody to talk to. We all need somebody to, you know, reach out with. Humans need to be connected. We are social creatures, uh, just like primates. I mean, we are primates. So, you know, we're supposed to have a troop. We're supposed to have a group. So luckily, the groups I choose to be around with, um, fantastic guys. Yeah, we punch each other in the face for fun, but you know, I don't know if you want to call it, combat theater, aggressive ballet, whatever you want to call it. You call it it's grown men pretend fighting in their underwear for belts that don't mean anything. But that's the beauty of it. Oh, it's the beauty of it. We can suspend disbelief. Everybody goes to the movies. Everybody watches TV. Well, most you know, people go to the movies. People watch TV. I don't have live TV. I don't watch TV. I do have streaming services, but is background noise. I don't actively watch TV. I will watch movies, but that's really it. Um, pretend fighting for belts that don't even work and hold up our pants. Yes. um, but it's whatever I can do to give back to this business that is older than all of us, but we're doing something that it's almost impossible to do something someone's never seen before in wrestling. Everything's just a repeat of a repeat. So it's more who can do it better, who can do it cooler, who can do it flashier, but it's the exact same move. Um, you know, so is it whatever I can do to give back to wrestling is my goal. And that's why I do the benefits. That's why I do anything for the kids because the kids are what kids are the anchors that we need because if the kids are super into it, the parents are going to want to get into it. So that's that's how I get them. I hook the kid, and I always look for me as a kid. I've said this as well. I look for that me as a kid, and I try to give him the opportunity. that I had as a kid. Skandar Akbar scared me. You know, he had that riding crop and was all decked out. Now takes it and does that to me. Let me go sit down. I knew what that meant. I didn't know it was scripted at the time. Um, but that's why I do it. That's why I do it. Um, so like I said, last night was a roller coaster. I haven't slept much, slept all day, so you know, it is what it is. But I do think Teddy Morris's Cowboy Harley Davidson. I thank Odin's Sons Veterans Club. I thank Southern Star Wrestling for having us out. Um, every group involved was played their part. They all benefited, like I said. It's all it all worked. It all worked. You know, wrestling can actually be terrifying as a child that doesn't know anything. That's facts. I've was someone sent me a screenshot of a video of it's my initial walkout of SSW, and that's where I met, you know, a lot of the SSW guys. I know they're part of other groups, but this was my first show in Port Neches. Port Neches. Um, and I knocked over one of our buddies, Coach the Ironclad. He has cerebral palsy and he uses a walker to get around. But to show that I was a heel, I dumped him out of his walker, and that made people not happy. So um, that was kind of my introduction with those guys. But this one was much better. Everybody benefited. Everybody played their part. It was phenomenal. Um, there's nothing but good things to say. It was a rough journey home. It's a rough journey up there, but you know, someone made me this. I can't believe it. Beard oil selling well. Iron Belly tells me we have our own Cash App, so I'll be posting that as soon as I can. That way, if anybody needs more beard oil or they want beard oil or they want merch, like I said, I'm going to set up a store. That way we can make orders and actually get our merch out and do this. Um, and like I said at the start of the stream, we had to do this differently. I'll have to pay StreamYard if I want access to more broadcasting. So I can't put it on my personal YouTube if I'm running Facebook, the Sons of Plunder YouTube, and my Rumble. So, like I said, I've got my phone running TikTok live, and that's below. So, just I don't know what it's doing. Oh, looks like TikTok only runs for an hour or something. I'm not sure what it's doing. Oh, drag the puzzle piece into place. Oh, it's saying after inactivity. Okay, we can keep going. Um, but I know I'm so lost. I'm so scatterbrained. I'm not doing well tonight. I know it. I know I'm not doing well. Like I said, still sore from the match. Still just emotionally drained from the drive. But again, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who has paid a ticket to watch any wrestling show, who's paid a ticket or paid for merch for Sons of Plunder. Everybody, thank you. Thank you all the Drangiers and Shield Maidens who show up each week to my podcast. Y'all are why I wrestle. Y'all are why I do the podcast. I'm I'm a celebrity because y'all choose to make me one. Plain and simple. And that's an honor and a privilege to me. So I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna do as much as I can with it. And that is a promise. Like I said, I've already started doing more with the TikTok. I've already started doing more with connecting on all the accounts. This is bigger than me now. And I I'm just thrilled and ecstatic. I'm doing what I love. I'm getting my story out, and you know, the Sons of Plunder are real. Um, and I can't wait to see what all we can bring and do for you in the future. So thank you everybody who stopped by. Thank you for all your comments. Um, this was a long one, an hour. I never expect to go long format, but getting everything done on TikTok, getting everything set up it's blowing me away to be on so many platforms all at once. I do apologize for the bouncing back and forth, but we'll figure this out. I'll try to get it to where I can, look in the same direction. I don't know. We're I was saying we're building this airplane as we learn to fly, but it's a rocket ship, and we're taking this to the stars. So with your help, with your help, together we're going places. So um trying to think what next week, holiday. Um I'll do a holiday, a Sunday next week. I know it's holiday weekend and stuff like that, but um I'll have time, I'll have opportunity. So I'll 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 be doing another dropping the hammer next week. We'll do live on all platforms again. So tune in next week, and we'll discuss Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do a history lesson just for funsies, before the Yule and stuff like that. So I might have a host, might do some interviews about the show. Adam, maybe Ben, have them both. I don't know. We'll get there. We'll build the rocket ship as we fly. So we'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody. We're going to turn this one off first, I think. Yeah, that one. All right. Good night, everybody.